Hello everybody, this is Jeremy with the DAW. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at a brand new plugin from Modern Music Solutions. This is Suift. It is a low frequency enhancement tool that allows you to enhance the low end by either enhancing what's already there or almost seeming like it replaces it using the sub mode. This has two different modes, lift, which is a very subtle mode and kind of sounds like it's just using a little bit of EQ and some saturation from what I've seen inside of Plugin Doctor, and sub mode, which seems to almost replace or even just do the enhancement times 10 with a lot more harmonics. This means that your low frequency content will not only sound bigger and boomier, but also have something that will actually cut through speakers because of the harmonics being generated. It's kind of doing that old psychoacoustic trick. A really cool thing is that we actually have a delta knob, so we can hear what's going on when we're doing this, when we're selecting the frequencies, which is very ideal. The intensity slider is going to dial in how much processing you want, and then you have input and output gain right here. Normally you will have presets that you can choose from right here, but this is an early copy, so that is not available just yet on my version. Let's go ahead and just take a quick listen. I really like this delta knob, so I want to focus on that. So we're going to have this on my mix bus, and I just want to show you what these two modes can do. So I'm going to hit delta, and now I'm going to select lift mode. You can hear what's going on, but when you actually go to sub mode, you really hear a huge enhancement. It's definitely doing a lot more processing, but it also has a different way of enhancement. I looked at it in Plugin Doctor very briefly, and it seemed like lift is genuinely lifting the low frequencies and adding harmonic content, where sub seems to be doing something where it shifts it and it sounds completely different. It's really cool. I don't know what they're doing, but what I really like is both modes have harmonic enhancement that does kind of psychoacoustic treatment to things. Let's take a look at Suift in the actual context of this mix. So this is a live performance that I have multi-track recorded all through my Dante network when I was using my console. And this is just the drums and keys and bass. I muted everything else because they were just tuning up. But let's bypass all instances of Suift. And I want to just show you what these drums sound like. Cool, so I know that was just pretty sudden, but if you listen to everything from the kick drums low end to the snare drums body to even the overheads tone, it's suddenly filled out. And especially with this really robust sounding bass guitar, it really does help because you need more low end. Now, I am using the Seismic Bass Amp suite because this is my favorite thing, but if I bypass this on the bass, it's still pretty big and funky, right? So I need something to kind of fill things out. That's where we turn to our signal chain. So for this, we have Suift, Oxford Native EQ, and the Nova Clip. I really like this thing. It has a really cool tone, and it also has a delta knob. Oxford EQ is doing some low frequency enhancement as well as getting rid of resonances and then boosting some high end. But because this is just one beta 52 on a kick drum that doesn't have a sound hole, we didn't get a lot of a low end. It was also very, very padded, so it was very dead, and this is the tone that we got out of it. But listen to that Suift. I have this in sub mode. I'm using, 72 hertz, and if I do delta, I'm really enhancing things. So listen in the mix when I have this off, and when you hear it, you really notice how it just doesn't sound as clicky anymore, and it becomes more boomy and just really, really nice. It's tight, but it's also very full. Cool. Pretty obvious. I really like that. If we just listen to the kick drum really quickly. And we can even do some tighter stuff like, but we don't want to make it too aggressive, right? I like this tone. That sounds fantastic. It sounds perfect that way. Next, we have the snare drum. This has the exact same signal changes, different settings, Oxford Native EQ, the Nova Clip, and then we have sublift. Now this is doing sub mode, and I have this at 124 Hertz. Let's listen to the delta. Now what I'm doing is I'm actually finding a resonant frequency and I'm enhancing it, because what I want is this to have more body, because with this bypass, that low end just kind of makes it sound like it has more harmonic content and it's a little bit fuller. So we'll bypass it and we'll listen in the mix. Listen to the snare. It's very obvious. It just adds some harmonics that weren't there before, and it's enhancing the low end. I'm using the sub modes because these are very aggressive modes, but I really like what they're doing. Next, we have sublift on the overheads. This is on lift mode because I wanted something more subtle. I have it on 155 Hertz, intensity 78%. Let's bypass it. Very sizzly overheads. This was just my two SM81s. It's a matched pair. Let's bypass the EQ. I'm just getting rid of some resonance, right? Let's add sublift. Now let's check this out. In the mix, we'll bypass sublift and hear how the overheads just fill out. They sound good without it, but it just has a little bit more fullness with it. Next, let's have all three of these in and out. We'll bypass them at the same time, and then we'll listen in the mix. Here we go. You can kind of hear how on the snare, I was kind of doing this subtler thing where even though I'm using the sub mode, I am not doing a heavy amount of it. That's why I added in the lift mode on the overheads, because when I have them both turned on, suddenly the snare drum has a lot more body and a lot more weight to it. The kick drum sounds fantastic. I think it sounds perfect like that. I can now balance out the volumes the way I want them to be. Now this isn't fully mixed. This is literally just slapped together. I haven't even done the toms. And the only thing on the keys is just the Gamma vocal suite, and the bass only has seismic bass amp. There's no other processing besides the 8 plugins you saw on the drums, and then the 2 that I am using for keys and bass. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. In my personal opinion, I think sublift is a very good modern take on low frequency enhancement. It is very, very efficient on the CPU. It sounds fantastic. And I like that it has 2 modes. Sub is definitely my favorite because it does a lot, while lift I find is a lot more subtle, but allows you to do a lot more subtle and meaningful changes where you need to gently enhance. And then sub is when you really need to fix. I like the frequency slider. The only thing I think would be cool is if they added maybe a mix knob, an intensity for the harmonics in general. But that's asking for extra features. As this is, I'm definitely going to use this for pretty much all of my mixes. I have a couple of other low frequency enhancement plugins, and they're pretty good, but they are pretty dated, or they're emulating a vintage piece of gear that, although really good, wasn't meant for modern music. And that's where I think this is doing a really good job. Anyway, I will leave a link down below. It is not an affiliate link. I will make no money off of it, but you will find a link to all of Modern Music Solutions plugins. Personally, I really like the Gamma Vocal Suite. I love the Seismic Bass Amp, and now I am really digging Sublift. Anyway, this is Jeremy Mateo with Andra. I will see you guys next time. Bye.